Well, it's interesting that you want to bring us, I mean, maybe it's interesting but not surprising, that you want to bring us to the level of government overreach, because now we have the foolishness of the week, and some people out there might start to see a pattern emerging. Who do you think brings us the foolishness of the week this weekend?
There's no question. There is the ultimate foolishness, possibly for the month, possibly for the year. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and her Green New Deal.
The Green New Deal, right? I read this thing today, and I'm just going to, from here on out, refer to it as the watermelon. Green on the outside, red on the inside. This is a fine piece of thinking. People are going to hear Green New Deal and think, oh, that's a great thing, which is, of course, her goal here. But it goes well beyond just simple green legislation.
A couple of the points on here. The resolution calls for the United States to meet 100% of our power demand through clean, renewable, zero-emission energy.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right. Well, 100% and within 10 years. Now, let's stop and think about this for a moment, because the technology isn't there yet for us to handle a large percentage of our power demands, let alone 100%, off of things like solar and wind and this sort of thing. So let's look at the next best solution. The next best solution is nuclear. Currently, nuclear power provides about 20% of U.S. electricity needs. It would cost, if we're lucky, about $3 trillion just to build the plants necessary to bring us up to the 100%. And that's assuming that all we're doing is replacing the fossil fuel, not replacing the existing solar and wind and that sort of thing. So there's $3 trillion right there within 10 years. And then the resolution goes on to say that all buildings, so this would include houses in the United States, must be updated to achieve maximal energy efficiency, water efficiency, safety, affordability. I don't know how that matches with the other things, comfort and durability.
Yeah, because all of this will surely be affordable.
Well, yeah. So you figure there are, let's just talk about the houses. There's round about 100 million houses in the United States. And if you talk about replacing all the windows with whatever the latest thermal stuff is, putting in new insulation, replacing your light switches with the LEDs, putting in the smart thermostats, all of that, let's assume possibly conservatively $20,000 per house.
That's very conservative.
But at $20,000 per house, you're talking about $2 trillion just to update the houses. Forget about the buildings and the shopping centers and all of that business.
Right. And here we have Representative Cortez, I think, thinking about her magic money machine.
Yeah.
She waves a magic wand and out comes the money, and then she can spend it, and nobody ever has to suffer. Here in the real world, where all of us have a balance sheet to contend with, I don't think you can tell me that I have to do $20,000 worth of upgrades to my house in order to pass federal muster. But here's the thing, Aunt. A couple of years back, you might remember when all of the progressives clapped and cheered because the federal government told us all that we absolutely had to buy a product out on the open market. And at that time, you and I said, there's a floodgate right there. As soon as that opens up, it's going to happen over and over and over again. And here you go. We were all forced to buy medical insurance against our will in many cases. Now, well, what's the principled reason to tell us we shouldn't have to go purchase all these things to make our houses as energy efficient as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants?